Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter periodic classification from few days onwards, isn't it? Now in this session we are going to discuss about the classification of elements into blocks. In the earlier sessions we have seen the earlier attempts for the classification of elements and how they were failed, what are the drawbacks in those classifications, and how modern periodic table was constructed, on which basis it is constructed, and different namings of the groups and periods in the modern periodic table. Those also we have seen. Now we are going to see the classification of the same modern periodic table into different blocks. At present, elements up to atomic number 118 are known. Yes, presently they have discovered so far 118 elements, isn't it? Yes. With such a large number of elements, it is very difficult to study the chemistry of the individual elements and the innumerable compounds formed by those elements. So it will be very difficult to remember the properties of each and every elements of these 118. And not only those, the compounds formed by those elements. So the remembrance of these properties of these all individually becomes a big task. It will be difficult to remember. So therefore, the elements in the periodic table are classified on the basis of their electronic configuration or based upon the valency shell electronic configurations. They are classified into four blocks. They are S, P, D, and F blocks. Okay, now let us say about these blocks, which elements are classified into which block. So this is a complete chart which is showing the classification of elements into four blocks. If you see, as this is periodic table, the extreme left side two columns are classified as S block elements, and the extreme right side six columns are classified as the P block elements, and in middle of these two there are 10 columns. They are classified as D block elements, and the elements written at the bottom of the periodic table in the two horizontal rows, they are classified as F block elements. In this way, totally the periodic table is classified into four parts. We call them as S, P, D, and F blocks. Let us see about these each block one by one. First among them, S block. Yes, the elements present in these two columns are considered as S block elements. The elements present in the extreme left side two columns of the periodic table are called as S block elements. Why they are called so? Why they are classified as so? There is a reason. The elements for which the differentiating electron or the outermost electron, which you can say simply the last electron, enters into the S subshell of their outermost energy level are called as S block elements. So the elements for which the differentiating electron enters into S subshell are called as S block or classified as S block elements. For example, if you see lithium among these, we know atomic number of lithium as 3. If you write its configuration 1s2, 2, what do we get? 2s1. Where is the differentiating electron for this lithium? Differentiating electron in the sense the last electron of that element. So totally it has 3 electrons and the last electron is in this 2s subshell. So it is having its last electron in its s subshell. So it is considered as s block element. Let us see any other element. For example, if we take either calcium or magnesium, let us take. If we see magnesium, its atomic number is given as 12. We know as it is 12. If we read configuration, what do we get? 1s2, next 2s2, then 2p6, and next 3s2. If you observe, for magnesium also, the last electron is present in S subshell, that is 3s subshell, isn't it? So in this way, for these all elements, if you observe their electronic configurations, their valence electron or last electron, which is also called as differentiating electron. So this differentiating electron is present in S subshell for these all elements. That's why these are classified as specially S block elements. So definition we are telling as like this for that the elements for which the differentiating electron enters into S subshell are called as S block elements. The general electronic configuration of these elements is NS1 to 2 where N represents the outermost shell. Why it is NS1 to 2 means if you see the first column elements, that means first column in this 1A group elements. For this all the last electron the configuration will be like this S1. The valence electronic configuration will be S1 because if you see lithium its configuration we are getting it as 1s2 2s1. If we see for lithium 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1. So for this also s1 again. If we see for potassium it gets in the valence shell configuration as 4s1. In this way these all elements will get the valence electronic configuration as s1, but only orbit number is being changed, so we can say it as ns1. So these alkali metals are having valence electronic configuration as ns1. If we see for these elements in the valence shell, they will be getting configuration as s2. It is 1s2 2s2 3s2 4s2 5s2. In this way these all will get s2 configuration in the valence shell, but the orbit number is being changed from element to element, so we can say it is ns2. So if we club these two, then we can generalize this as ns1 to 2. So for first group elements ns1, for second group elements ns2. So in this way it is generalized as ns1 to 2 is the general electronic configuration of these s block elements. The elements of 1A group are called alkali metals. Of course, this we have studied already in the earlier session, the special names given for the groups and the periods of the modern periodic table. First group elements except hydrogen are called as alkali metals because in the first group mostly there are metals except hydrogen, remaining all are metals as we know: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, and these elements can form alkalis. What does it mean by alkalis? We said the bases which are soluble into water. So these metals will form bases which are soluble into water. So these metals are said to be alkali metals. And the second A group elements are called alkaline earth metals because these second A group elements are also forming alkalis and these are mostly available from the earth crust. Because of these two reasons, they are called alkaline earth metals. Now, first group elements are hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. These elements are having one electron in their valence shell with ns1 general configuration, isn't it? They belong to first A group. And the elements of second group, we can say beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. These are having two electrons in their valence shell with the configuration, general configuration ns2. So they belong to second A group. Now S block elements are the usage of these. Where do you find these elements in the usage? Generally these S block elements are famous for being ingredients in fireworks. Not only those, mostly as these being reactive, mostly these are available in the compounds form. Most of the compounds will be formed by these elements. If for example if we see first group element sodium, in which form it is available for us in the mostly salt, sodium chloride contains sodium. Okay, not only this, mostly in our daily life we find these s block elements in fireworks because when these first group elements or second group elements are burnt, they produce different colors. The ionic forms of potassium, strontium, barium, they're burnt, the when they're burnt in the fireworks, potassium burns with a brilliant purple or lilac color flame. If you see strontium, strontium burns with a crimson red color flame. If it is barium, it burns with a green apple green color. In this way, they burn when the compounds of these first A and second A group elements, if they're burnt, they produce different colors flames. Because of this reason, these elements and their compounds mostly used in fireworks. If you burn sodium, it burns with a golden yellow flame. If it is calcium or its calcium compound, it burns with red color. And if it is magnesium, dazzling white color will be formed. In this way, all of these first and second A group elements will burn with different colors. Because of this reason, these S block elements and their compounds are used in making of fireworks. Okay. Next, P block elements. So the extreme right side six columns elements are called as P block elements. That is third A, you can say 13th group or third A group elements. To 8th A or 0 group or noble gases. Till here, these all elements are considered as P block elements. Why they are called so? That is the reason here. The elements for which the differentiating electron enters into P subshell are called P block elements. If you observe, for these all elements, the differentiating electron enters into P subshell. So we have to consider one point here, that is exception of helium. Even though helium is in the 8th A group, it will not be under P block because this element is having its differentiating electron in the S subshell. So it comes under S block element. Even though it is in the P block column, it belongs to S block because it is having its differentiating electron in the S subshell. Except that remaining these all elements are containing their differentiating electron in P subshell. What does it mean by differentiating electron? The last electron or the valence electron. Let us see one example. If we see boron, we know its atomic number as 5. If you write configuration 1s2, 2s2, what do we get? 2p1 means it is having its valence electron in the p subshell. If you see neon, neon atomic number we know as it is 10, isn't it? So if you read configuration for it, we get it as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, isn't it? This is the electron configuration of neon. Now, where the last electron is present for this neon in this piece of shell. In this way, not only for these elements, remaining all elements also, if you observe configurations, these all will be having their differentiating electron in the p subshell. So these elements are classified as p block elements. That's to say definitionally, the elements for which the differentiating electron enters into p subshell are called as p block elements. Okay. Next, it contains elements of third A group to 8th A group. Of course, in the 8th A group, we told already helium should be accepted because it has no p electrons. So it belongs to S block even though it is in the right side. Okay. The general electronic configuration of these elements means we are telling from third A group to 8th A group all are there. So when you consider these valence electronic configurations of these all groups, 6 groups, then we can generalize it as NS2 NP126. This is a general electronic configuration of P block elements where N represents the outermost shell. Okay. It includes metals, non-metals, metalloids, and inert gases. All are there in this. So some metals are there, and some non-metals. Mostly non-metals are there, and even metalloids also. Almost all the metalloids in the p block itself. Some metals are there in the p block, and almost all the non-metals are also in the p block itself, except hydrogen. Okay. The only group with all the gaseous elements is zero group. This we discussed earlier once. Let us see once again. What is zero group? 8th A group. 8th A group contains all gases. What are those? Noble gases. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. These elements are called noble gases. So this is a group which contains all gases only. Elements of S block and P block except zero group elements are together called representative elements because in the S block and P block elements are having incompleteness in their valence shell except noble gases. Of course, noble gases are having completely filled outermost shell, but except noble gases, the remaining elements present in the S block and P block are having incompleteness in their valence shell. They are not completely filled with electrons. Hence, they will be more reactive and they are responsible for the most of the chemical reactions. That is why these elements are called representative elements. Okay, S block and P block elements together called representative elements except noble gases. Next, D block elements. The elements in which the last electron enters into d subshell of their penultimate energy level are called D block elements. So here one more new word has come. Penultimate. Penultimate shell means last but one shell. We know the last shell of an element from the outside. The last shell of an element is called outermost shell or last shell. The next but one, so the next shell which is there beside the outermost shell is called penultimate shell. The last but one shell of an element is called penultimate shell. So the elements for which the differentiating electron enters into d subshell of penultimate shell are known as D block elements. So the D block elements are in between the S block and P block in the modern periodic table. The 10 columns, that is this we know as third B group. So third B2, fourth B, fifth B, sixth B, seventh B, and eighth B, 1B, and second B. So these are 10 columns elements are called as D block elements. The elements present in between the S block and P block in the periodic table are classified as D block elements. For these elements, the differentiating electron enters into D subshell of penultimate shell. What does it mean penultimate shell? The last but one shell. Okay. Now, this block is situated in between S and P blocks of the periodic table. Yes. It contains elements of third B to 8B and first B and second B groups. Total B subgroups are there in this D subshell. The general electronic configuration of these elements is n minus 1 D1 to 10 because there are totally 10 columns. For the first B group elements, it will be n minus 1 D1 NS1 NS2 because ns will be completely filled first and then electrons enters into n minus 1 d subshell according to Abbo principle we know. Okay, first outermost shell S subshell will be completely filled and then last but one shell that we call penultimate shell D subshell will be started. For these D block elements, this last but one D subshell will be started here. So we write it as ns2 n minus 1 d1 to ns2 n minus 1 d10. This will be the general electronic configuration for these 10 columns. But for some elements, there is only one electron in ns subshell. For that to represent it also, it is written as ns122 n minus 1 d1 to 10. What is that element? For example, if we take chromium, for chromium, the electronic configuration or the valence electronic configuration will be ns1, or we can write simply 4s1 3d5 because of its as per Hounslow maximum multiplicity to becomes to more stable, one electron jumps from 4s to 3d, so it becomes 4s1 3d5 instead of being 4s to 3d4. This we know already. Now how can be it represented? N s1. So if it is n, what it becomes? N minus 1. N minus 1 d5. So for the remaining elements, all it will be 2 only here. But only for two elements like chromium and copper, it will be ns1. So to represent these two elements also, ns is taken as ns122. Otherwise, it can be taken as Ns2 directly. But because of these two elements, copper and chromium, it is to be mentioned as Ns122. And D subshell will be slowly being filled with electrons from first B group to 8th B group, 10th column, 1 to 10 electrons. That is why its general electron configuration will be Ns122, N-1D, 1 to 10. So it can be represented like this, where here n-1 representing last but one shell, that we call as penultimate shell, where and n representing the outermost shell. Okay. Next, f block elements, the elements in which the last electron or differentiating electron enters into f subshell of anti-penultimate shell are called f block elements. Here one more new word, anti-penultimate. In the previous, in the D subshell or D block elements, we told penultimate shell. The elements for which the last electron in the D subshell of penultimate shell are called D block elements. In the same way, we used here one more word, anti-penultimate shell. That means the last but two shell. For an element from the outermost, if you see the last shell from the outside is called outermost shell or last shell. The next one is penultimate shell, that we say last but one shell is called penultimate. And the next to that, that is last but two shell is called anti-penultimate shell. Now the elements for which the differentiating electron enters into F subshell of anti-penultimate shell are called F block elements. So these are the F block elements. These elements are situated at the bottom of the periodic table separately in the two horizontal rows, isn't it? These are called F block elements. Actually, these all elements should be in the third B group itself. But to make it convenient in writing, these elements are kept separate from the periodic table and written down. Why these only taken down means because of this reason. These will come under F block elements. For these all elements, last or differentiating electron enters into their F subshell. That is why these are taken and kept separate to make it convenient. It consists of two series of elements placed at the bottom of the periodic table. Yes. The elements of first series follow lanthanum, hence they are called lanthanoids. And even these all elements will exhibit the similar chemical properties with lanthanum, so they are called lanthanoids. They are cerium to lutetium. The elements from cerium to lutetium are followed by lanthanum. That's why these are specially called lanthanoids. And the elements of second series, second horizontal row in this block, are being followed by actinum, and hence they are called actinoids. Thorium to lawrencium. These elements are being followed by actinum, and these elements are exhibiting the chemical properties which are similar to that of actinum. That is why these are called actinoids. Lanthanoids and actinoids together called F block elements. These are also called as inner transition elements because these are separated and written down from transition elements. That is the third B group, isn't it? That is why these are also called as inner transition elements. The general electronic configuration of these elements is ns2 n-1 d12 and n-2 f1214, or in the reverse way also you can say. Why I have read like this means first ns will be filled for these elements and then n-1 and then n-2f. In this way the configurations will be filled for these elements. So we can write these in this way also, no wrong. n-2 f1 to 14, n-1 d0 to 1, ns2. So where this n representing last shell. So for these elements, last shell S subshell is being filled, and last but one shell, that is penultimate shell, D subshell is being filled, and the F subshell of anti-penultimate shell, that is last but two shell. These three subshells are being filled for these F block elements. Okay, here n representing outermost shell or last shell, n minus 1 representing last but one shell, n minus 2 representing last but two shell. Okay, now let us see these once again. These terms which we have used, let us note these here once. So the last shell of an element is called outermost shell or valence shell, that we mentioned as n. And the last but two shell from the outside is called as penultimate shell. If the outermost shell is n, then it is mentioned as n minus 1. In those configurations we have used this term n minus 1. That represents penultimate shell. That is the last but one shell from outside. And last but two shell. That last but second shell is anti-penultimate shell or pre-shell. Pre-penultimate it also called. Okay. Third one, last but two is called anti-penultimate shell. This we have represented as n minus 2. Okay. This is about the classification of elements into four blocks. They are S block, P block, D block, and F block elements. Right. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today for latest updates and recorded videos.